"Help me, somebody help me," screams 8-year-old Marcus as he dangles from the second-floor railing of Westfield Shopping Center, his small fingers slipping on the metal bar. Below, shoppers scatter in panic while 83-year-old Earl Washington, leaning heavily on his walker, looks up and sees a nightmare he's witnessed before, someone about to fall to their death. What this war hero does next will amaze you and prove that true courage never ages. If stories about everyday heroes inspire you, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments about the bravest person you know. Let's celebrate real heroism. Together, Earl Washington was shuffling through Westfield Shopping Center with his walker, taking his time like he did everything these days. At 83, with 2 artificial knees and a heart condition, even simple errands took twice as long as they used to. He'd stopped at the pharmacy to pick up his medications and was heading toward the exit when he heard the screaming "Help me, help me." Earl looked up toward the second floor and felt his blood freeze. A young boy, maybe 8 years old, was hanging from the decorative railing outside the food court. His small hands were wrapped around the metal bars, his legs kicking frantically in the air. The kid had somehow climbed over the safety barrier and was now dangling 20 feet above the hard marble floor. Shoppers below were pointing and screaming. Some pulled out phones to record. Others backed away, afraid the child might land on them. "Call 911. Someone yelled, "Where are his parents?" Another voice shouted, "Earl watched the boy's grip weakening." His military training from 60 years ago kicked in instantly. In Korea, he'd seen soldiers fall from cliffs and buildings. He knew exactly how long someone could hang on before their strength gave out. The kid had maybe 30 seconds. Earl abandoned his walker and started running toward the spot where the boy would fall. His artificial knees screamed in protest. His heart hammered against his ribs, but he kept moving. A security guard was sprinting from the other side of the mall, but he was too far away. The boy's mother had just emerged from a store and was screaming hysterically from the second floor. "Marcus, hold on, baby," she cried. "Mommy's coming." But there wasn't time. Earl positioned himself directly under the child, ignoring the pain shooting through his legs. He spread his arms wide, trying to cover as much ground as possible. A woman in yoga clothes grabbed his arm. "Sir, you'll get hurt. You can't catch him." Earl shook her off. "I've got him," he said with quiet confidence. The crowd around him grew larger. People were shouting advice, calling for help, taking pictures. But Earl blocked them all out. He focused only on the small boy above him, whose grip was failing fast. "I can't hold on." The boy whimpered. "Yes, you can." Earl called up to him. "Look at me, son. When you fall, I'm going to catch you. Do you understand?" The boy looked down with terrified eyes. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure," Earl said firmly. "I'm a soldier." Soldiers never let people fall. A businessman in expensive suit stepped closer to Earl. "Old man, this is crazy. You're going to break every bone in your body." "Maybe," Earl replied without taking his eyes off the child. "But that boy won't." The kid's fingers were slipping now. One hand came loose, then caught the bar again. The crowd gasped. Earl moved slightly to adjust his position. His back ached from looking up. His knees felt like they might buckle, but he stayed focused. "Okay, son," Earl called out. "When I count to 3, just let go. I'll catch you. Trust me." "I'm scared," the boy cried. "Being scared is okay," Earl said. "Being brave means doing what you have to do, even when you're scared." Earl's words carried across the mall. The crowd had gone quiet, everyone holding their breath. 1, Earl counted. The boy's mother was sobbing from the second floor, held back by mall security, who wouldn't let her get too close to the railing. 2, Earl continued. The businessman stepped back, unable to watch. Several people covered their eyes. 3, the boy let go. For a split second that felt like forever, Earl watched the small body falling toward him. Time seemed to slow down. just like it had during combat in Korea when incoming. Shells gave him that same crystal clear focus. Earl caught the boy perfectly, absorbing the impact with his whole body. They both crashed to the floor, Earl taking the brunt of the fall to protect the child. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Earl lay on his back, the wind knocked out of him, but he could feel the boy moving on top of him. That was good. That meant the kid was alive and conscious. "Are you okay, son?" Earl gasped. The boy sat up, checking himself for injuries. "I think so. Are you okay?" Earl tried to sit up, but pain shot through his back. "I've been better, but I've been worse too." The security guard finally arrived, followed quickly by paramedics who had been called when the incident started. "Sir, don't move," one of the EMTs said to Earl. "We need to check you for injuries." As they examined him, Earl kept his eyes on the boy, who was crying in his mother's arms. She had run down from the second floor and was thanking Earl between sobs. "You saved my baby," she kept repeating. "You saved my baby." Earl smiled weakly. "That's what soldiers do, ma'am." The paramedic frowned as he checked Earl's vital signs. "Sir, your blood pressure is through the roof, and I think you might have cracked some ribs. We need to get you to the hospital." "I'm fine," Earl protested, but when he tried to stand, his legs gave out. As they loaded Earl onto a stretcher, more people gathered around. Someone had posted the video online, and it was already spreading across social media. A reporter from the local news station arrived and started interviewing witnesses. "That old man didn't hesitate for a second," the businessman said into the camera. "I told him he was crazy, but he just said that boy wouldn't fall on his watch." The yoga instructor nodded. "He moved faster than men half his age." It was like watching Superman, except Superman was an 83-year-old man with a walker. At the hospital, doctors confirmed that Earl had 3 cracked ribs, a bruised back, and dangerously high blood pressure from the stress and exertion. Mr. Washington, the doctor said, "At your age, with your heart condition, what you did was incredibly risky. You could have had a heart attack or stroke." Earl shrugged from his hospital bed. "Doc, I've been risking my life since I was 18 years old. This time, it actually saved someone instead of just following orders." The boy and his mother, Jessica, visited Earl the next day. Marcus was shy at first, but when Earl asked him about school and his favorite video games, the kid opened up. "Mr. Earl," Marcus said, "my mom told me you were a soldier in a war." "That's right," Earl said. "A long time ago. Were you scared in the war?" "Every day," Earl admitted. "But being scared doesn't mean you can't be brave." Marcus thought about this. "I was really scared when I was hanging there. I know you were, son, but you held on until I could catch you. That was brave." Jessica wiped away tears. "Mr. Washington, I don't know how to thank you. Marcus is all I have since his father died last year." Earl's expression softened. "You don't need to thank me. Just raise that boy to be good and kind. That's thanks enough." The local news ran the story that evening. Within hours, Earl was being called a hero across the country. The video of the catch had millions of views. But what touched Earl most was a letter he received a week later. It was from a group of elementary school students who had heard about what happened. The letter read, "Dear Mr. Washington, our teacher told us about how you saved Marcus. We think you are the bravest person in the world. We learned that you fought in Korea too. Thank you for keeping people safe your whole life. You are our hero." It was signed by 23 second graders, each with their own crayon drawing of Earl catching the falling boy. Earl kept that letter on his nightstand next to a photo from his army days. A month later, the mall held a ceremony honoring Earl's heroism. The mayor gave him a key to the city. The American Legion presented him with a special medal for valor. But the best part of the ceremony came when Marcus took the microphone. "Mr. Earl saved my life," the boy said in his small voice. "But he also taught me that being scared is okay as long as you're brave too. When I grow up, I want to be just like him." Earl wiped his eyes as the crowd applauded. Later, as people were leaving, a young man in an army uniform approached Earl. Sir, I'm Sergeant First Class Rodriguez. I heard about what you did and wanted to thank you. Thank me for what, son? For showing me what it really means to be a soldier, Rodriguez said. I'm deploying next month, and I was nervous about it. But watching you risk everything to save that boy reminded me why we serve. It's not about the medals or recognition. It's about being willing to put yourself in harm's way to protect others. Earl shook the young soldier's hand. You've got it figured out, son. Take care of yourself over there. As Earl rode home that evening, using his walker again but moving a little easier thanks to the physical therapy, he thought about something his drill sergeant had told him 60 years ago. A soldier's duty doesn't end when he takes off the uniform. It ends when he takes his last breath. Earl smiled and touched the new medal on his jacket. At 83, he was still serving, still protecting, still being the soldier he'd always been. And somewhere in town, a little boy named Marcus was learning that real heroes don't need capes or superpowers. Sometimes they just need a brave heart and the willingness to catch someone when they fall.